Hi there, I am Leandro Gardini, and for those who are arriving on this channel for the first time, here you can find the best and most insightful tutorials about the latest technologies. We cannot discuss the advancement of music technology without talking about artificial intelligence. Today's topic is how to create a classical choir with the marvelous Ace Studio. But what is Ace Studio? It is a revolutionary artificial intelligence music tool for creating vocals. It recently had a big hype because of the realistic vocal tracks you can create almost effortlessly. There are tons of demonstrations that you can check on their website and YouTube. However, when it comes to creating a realistic classical choir, things change a lot. The voice ensemble may not sound the way you want if you simply stack one voice over the other. So, before going to the programming part, let me quickly explain the Ace DAW just to familiarize you with it, if you will. It's pretty much like any popular DAW like Logic or Cubase. Here is the main grid where you can create MIDI regions and input your MIDI notes. Down here is the second most important window where you can control MIDI parameters that work like MIDI CCs. On the bottom left, here is a list of available voices that you can simply drag to the grid, and the selected voice will automatically create a new track. In the upper left corner, you have the list of the collected voices, or you may say the preferred voices. And up here are the custom voices. In all of them, you can drag and drop singers into the grid. Here is the blend voice window. For now, I have only one voice, and the voice contains timbre, which is this purple bar, and style, which is this orange bar. By clicking on this icon, I can add a second voice, let's say Bianca. And now I have two voices to blend over. I can increase it or decrease the amount of style and timbre of the second voice, and of course the first one too. Since I have put 100% for each voice, we can say that it's a blend of 50% of timbre and style from Sky and Bianca. By clicking on this middle icon, now you can detach both bars, and now you can control them independently. Let's say that I want only the timbre from Bianca blended with Sky, so I can put it down to 0 or just a little bit here. Or let's say that I prefer the style of Bianca over Sky, but I like more. I have to click on here. I like more the style of Bianca over Sky's timbre. You can add as many voices as you want, but according to my experience, blending 2, 3, or 4 voices maximum renders the best result. Okay, here's the project where I created a full choir of Bach's masterpiece Jesus, Joy of Man's Desiring. If you haven't watched the Mockup video yet, I urge you to click on this link up here. There you can listen to the Mockup containing the choir with full orchestra. For now, I will feature only the choir in this tutorial. Let's put it to play. I have divided the choir session into different colors for better visuals. The choir is composed of 4 sopranos, 4 altos, 3 tenors, and 2 basses, which sums up a total of 13 singers. But how do they sound? Jesus, what you hear is the original sound coming from Ace Studio. In my heart, supreme light. In the final mock-up, I've added a light reverb and positioning so that the singers would appear to be in the same orchestra room. I've set up one reverb channel for each singer and placed them side by side in the back of the orchestra. Jesus, light and the stereo image is evolving.
Through his love's redeeming might.
These lines going up and down represent the vibrato of the voice. And as you can see, I've added a fair amount because adding more vibrato helps to simulate operatic voices. The key is to add one different vibrato style for each voice so that you can avoid the phase problem.
He my eyes most precious pleasure.
I didn't change any parameters like breath, air, falsetto, tension, and formant.
He my spirit's choicest treasure.
However, I did customize energy, which can be translated as dynamic.
Fast and firm within my heart.
And the result is a realistic and expressive choir.
He and I will never part.
Okay, I have given you a broad scope of the programming. Now let's analyze it with more scrutiny. As I speak to you, currently a studio has some operatic voices in its pool, but there are not enough to make a full choir. So the trick is to create new voices by blending two or more of them. By clicking here, double-clicking on the singer, it opens up a new page, and soprano 1 has only Caroline. But for soprano 2, I wanted to differentiate Caroline for soprano 2, and I added Barber in first place and Caroline in the second place. They're divided 50-50 on timbre and 50-50 on style. Barber is somewhat kind of operatic too, so I left the style 100%. For soprano 3, Livia comes in first place, Clara Epic second place, and Caroline. Clara and Livia are not operatic at all. So, style goes down to 0, timbre I kept them at 100%, and the style is 100% from Caroline. For soprano 4, now I have a blend of 4 voices: Caroline, Marco, Clara Epic, and Livia. You may be asking why Marco, since Marco is a man. Yeah, he's a man, but I wanted to give soprano 4 a lower timbre, so adding a little bit of a man here, Marco, would add a lower tone for soprano 4. Now let's go straight to alto 1. The first one is Calas Bocas, which is a custom voice that I created myself. Calas Bocas. All right. Anyway, Calas Bocas for alto 2, and Clara Dark. It's a little bit different, the timbre for alto 2, but the style is totally 100% from Calas Bocas. Alto 3, Calas Bocas and Robert. Robert is a baritone, but I added a little bit of his timbre and style to give alto 3 a lower timbre. Alto 4, Robert in first place, Calas Bocas, and Caroline. And Robert being in first place does not make the voice sound masculine, because I blended it with 2 other female timbres. On the tenors, I have Robert only. To make it a little bit different, I have for tenor 2, Robert and Aaron, 50-50 on timbre and style. Tenor 3, Barber. And for the bass, Aaron, which is a low voice, and Robert and Aaron for bass 2. Alright, changing the timbre is the first principle to avoid sameness and phase problems, but there is more. Ace does a great job adding vibrato to each style, but changing the timbre may not be enough to avoid the nasty phasey effect. Also, to get a classical style, you have to add a great amount of vibrato to each voice, especially if it's a pop voice. On soprano 1, there's a great deal of vibrato and randomness. Pay attention to this specific note, and let's compare it with the other singers. Soprano 2, soprano 3, and 4. These tiny little nuances make all the difference. By clicking on this icon, you have access to the vibrato parameters in each note. And now you can see amplitude, phase, and frequency. These two balls control the amount of vibrato, and they may work like a vibrato fade in and fade out. The amplitude controls the depth of the vibrato. The phase kind controls the positioning of the waves. And the frequency controls the speed of the vibrato. Slower speed, higher speed. You ought to manually set each parameter differently to have a distinct character for each voice. But here comes the trick. By simply slightly changing the pitch, you may have enough differentiation in character. Singers will never sing perfectly in pitch with one another. Therefore, never forget to detune them slightly. After working on the character of each voice, the most important feature is energy, which is the same as dynamic. Again, Ace does a great job adding dynamic to the voice, but you have to customize it to reproduce an expressive choir. For this piece, I programmed it with a smooth attack and release of each phrase. From low to middle, from middle to low, from low to middle, from middle to low. The following phrases follow the same principle. From low to middle, from middle to low, from low to middle, from middle to low. These mountains in the middle of the phrase provide more expression to each note. They basically follow the same principle of smooth attack and release, but they are applied to each note instead of the entire phrase. The secret is to think of two layers of dynamic. The first is composed of a big and wide mountain smoothing the attack and release of the entire phrase. And as we zoom in, we see the second layer, which smooths the attack and release of each note. More precisely saying, the long notes. More about that in the complete course Scoring Tools Masterclass. Alright folks, that was the first tutorial of Ace Studio. I hope you have liked it, and if you have any questions or you want me to cover something further, just let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to never miss another tutorial. I hope you have liked it. See you. Bye bye.